Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome to Fateweaver, the Alchemist Quarry, this is another game by the Random Studios, the same people who made the test series. If you've already seen previous games I've done on this, you should know exactly what we're getting into. This should be another questionnaire. So let's get right into it, shall we? The Alchemist Quarry. Space theme, I like it. Through the cosmos abyss and the great beyond, there exist entities of great power, both admired and feared by gods and mortals alike. These illustrations entities are known as the Fateweavers. Some call them gods, some know them as the devil himself, and some view them as the universe, as if it had a mind and soul of its very own. The phrase, "everything happens for a reason," is often spoken from the tongues of hopeful mortals, men and women seeking solace in otherwise unexplainable and grisly times. These Fateweavers are responsible for their mercurial reasoning, twisting, shaping, bending, and breaking. They weave the fate of totality, one thread at a time. You, my friend, are a Fateweaver. Though you may go by many names, and though perhaps you sing your praises, others cower in fear while even more spit upon your effigy. Regardless of your reputation and horrors for your kind, your duty and responsibility remains the same. You are drawn to energies of all kinds, Weaver, sometimes pure and sometimes strident. When another being is trudging through traumatic events in their lives, when mortals feel forsaken and left to rot by their idols, they pray in desperation, just hoping that anyone, might answer their pleas for help. You, Fateweaver, are the one who answers. You, Fateweaver, are the one who knocks on the doors of these desperate souls. You, Fateweaver, are the one who twists fates to exact divine vengeance and retribution unto those who you deem unworthy of existence. Will you be just? Will you be fair? Will you weave a fate of compassion and understanding, or will you weave a fate of vile, wretched indignation, spurring and scorning all who invoke your wrath? There is no right nor wrong to weave the threads of fates. You hold all the power in the palms of your hand. You are gasping a maw of abyss. It is up to you to venture forth and visit those who beckon, and it is up to you to decide which way their fate will inevitably unravel. Now go, Fateweaver. Another poor soul calls to you in the darkest hour of the night. Spooky. I'm just gonna let this naturally go because I enjoy the backgrounds. Please, don't just come up with coin, I swear it. Darkness of night envelops an unkept room with a meager accommodations as thunderous storms rages outside. A lowly, unsettled alchemist tosses and turns uncomfortably as he dreams of an inevitable anything. Just don't take it so hard. What was that? Oh. It's just a nightmare. It must have been just... Wait. Who are you? What are you? What are you doing in my room, beast? You called to me in your sleep. Beckoned and I've come. Now you've questioned my presence on this night. Not very hospitable of you, Marcus. It's no way to treat a Fateweaver now, is it? Fateweaver? You're joking. I didn't think you'd actually come. I didn't even know whether or not you tranquilly existed or it was just a fairy tale, yes? A story that mothers tell their unruly children to frighten them into obedience. Well, Allow me to assure you, Marcus, I'm very much real. What does this mean for me, then? Am I going to die? Well, of course you are, Marcus. We're all going to die eventually. Nothing lasts forever. But am I going to die tonight? Well, that's more up to you than it is to me. I've come to converse with you, come to learn about you, Marcus, inside and out. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you're going to answer them for me honestly. Afterwards, I'll decide what fate has in store for you. So, you're saying there's a chance that my fate can turn out positively after all? If I weave it that way, most assuredly. Splendid. What do I need to do? Just answer your questions? Precisely. That sounds rather simple. I'm sure there's some sort of catch. No catch, Marcus. Your fate would either be weaved with something success or be weaved with chaos and destruction. Ultimately, my decision will be dependent on how you answer my questions. And whether or not I like you. That is very true. So, I'm playing the Fateweaver, not Marcus. Obviously, it's not before. It's just weird we're actually presented with what we're looking at, and we're the ones asking the questions. Normally, we're the ones being on the receiving end of that, which is quite unusual. So, noted. Perhaps we should get started. There's a copious amounts of miserable creatures who our prayers are going in vain at this very moment. Each second I spend with you are seconds taken away from others, so consider yourself fortunate. Oh, I do. I think I'm ready to begin when you are, of course. Begin we shall. Here it will be starting now. This is just weird to be on the other end of this, because it's like, what do you mean? Like, it's just, ugh. Are you happy with your current life, or are you grateful with your current life? He definitely wasn't very grateful, I think is better. Would you say that you're grateful for the life you have? Well, I believe that I'm grateful for being alive. I guess it's kind of hard to sit here and tell you that I'm grateful for the life I have when I'm pleading for change, or perhaps is not as grateful as I should be. That is honestly very, very valid. What would you say that you value most versus what is your biggest dream and aspiration? What do you value most? Out of everything that's important to you, what do you say you value most, Alchemist? Out of everything? I'd say I would value my freedom the most, despite my trait not exactly panning out the way I hoped. At the very least, I get to do what I enjoy for a living, as meager as it may be. Have you ever been a hero to someone else? Yes. Have you ever been a hero in someone else's life? Oh, I'd say I've been a hero at one point or another, for sure. For example, this one guy came into the shop looking for an elixir that could enhance certain properties. He had a very important date that night, and he felt a little on the self-conscious side, so I whipped him up a special potion just for him. I even coined the elixir. I'm not gonna say that. Clever, right? Have you felt like you were destined for greatness? Have you ever felt like there's something special? I'm gonna say destined for greatness. Have you ever had the feeling that you're destined for more alchemists? Destined for something better? Something greater? Well, to put it simply, yes. I feel like that's a huge part of my dilemma, actually. I feel it deep within my heart as though I'm nowhere near my potential. feel like I'm destined for so much more. I spent countless nights deep in my cups over that little fact. Are you an honest man? How many times have you told? You're not gonna remember how many times you told a lie. Are you an honest man? Do you consider yourself to be an honest man? Oh yes, very much so. Honest as they come, I'd say. I believe that being honest won't always get you the most friends, but it'll certainly get you the right ones. Been betrayed by another. You've been betraying someone close to you. Have you ever betrayed someone close to you? Yeah, I betrayed someone who put their trust in you, Marcus. Besides the time I lied to my father about breaking... And he said he was truthful. Besides the time I had lied to my father about breaking his laboratory equipment, I don't believe I had, no. Do you like your own name if you choose a different name, would you? I would say different. Choosing. If you could choose a different name for yourself, Marcus, would you? In my younger years, I think I would have answered yes to this question. I've grown to take great pride in my name now, though. It was my father's, actually. It's like most about humanity or more profession. Say humanity. What would you say you dislike most about your kind, Alchemist? Humanity, that is. Can I just answer humans to this question? I mean, not all of them are awful, but there sure seems to be a lot of them with very hazard internal design. Do you have any children? Do you have any children of your own? Do you have any children to call your own? Anyone you look after or care for? Oh God, no. I can barely take care of myself. I don't even know how my father managed to put up with me. I'm quite the handful, I'm sure. What do people ask you for help the most? What do you ask others for help the most? I'll say, what do you ask others for help? What would you say that you ask most of others? Interestingly, I don't actually ask much of others. Perhaps that's why I'm in the predicament that I'm in with my failing business and less than ideal life. I've been so desperate trying to figure out things on my own for so long that I finally broke down and prayed before falling asleep tonight, and then you came. Biggest fear, regret. What's regret? What would you say your biggest regret is? What would you say is your biggest regret in life? Not telling my father how much I loved him. Easily. Quite easily my biggest regret. Strength or weakness? Greatest weakness. What would you say might be your greatest weakness? His greatest weakness would be my stubbornness. I'm tremendously hard-headed and I don't like asking for help very often, to tell you the truth. Killed someone? Killed someone? Have you ever killed someone? Have you ever killed someone, Marcus? What? No. Of course not. What kind of question is that? Hard worker or lazy? I'd say hard worker. Would you consider yourself to be a hard worker? Oh yes, I work tirelessly through the day and generally through the night. My work ethic may be second to none. Would you consider yourself to be a passionate man or a romantic? I'd say romantic. And it's not fun at all. You consider yourself to be a romantic man. Romantic? Most certainly not. I mean, love isn't something I necessarily dabbled in myself, but I do have lots of customers who frequent my shop, desperately looking for ways to enchant that part of their lives. Perhaps it's something I should consider for the future. If I have a future, that is. Whose fault is the life throwing right in? What do you attribute to your life turning out this way? The way that it has thus far? Well, I've spent a lot of time pondering that question. The conclusion I managed to come to was that everything happens for a reason, and anything and everything that happens in my life, good and bad, contributes to where I am today. Yeah, but now that I met you, perhaps you're the one responsible. Would you consider yourself to be courageous or a man of action? Courageous. Courageous, even. Honestly, no. I'm not a fighter. I'm quite fond of getting close to people, and I don't like to take too many unnecessary risks. I wouldn't say that I'm cowardly, but I wouldn't say that I'm courageous either. What various types of concoctions do you make with your skill sets? Or fail to make? Let's say concoctions that you do make with your skill set. What sort of wares does your trade provide, Alchemist? Wide variety, really. Allow me to shed a little light here. So beyond the common love potion orders and remedies for various diseases I also get propositions for elixirs of transformation. A man should concoct an elixir that can turn the imbiber to a small rodent for about half a day. Though occasionally the imbiber sometimes will be transformed into a human-sized rodent on one occasion, the transformation was somewhat permanent. But hey, 9 out of 10 customers leave happy, so, that's a plus. What's the hardest part of your profession? You're easy. I'm more curious about the hardest. What would you say the most difficult part of your profession? The most difficult part of what I do is the trial and error of it all. If I'm not careful, I can create something that incredibly volatile and dangerous. Oftentimes, the ingredients I work with are so rare and difficult to acquire that they become more expensive than I'm able to afford, so that's an issue as well. If you could be doing anything else, what would you say, Drew? I would say anything else. You could be doing anything else with your life besides alchemy. What would you choose to do? Do something else? I don't think I've ever considered doing something else. If I couldn't consider to pursue alchemy, I'm not sure that I would want to do anything else. Have you ever concocted something specifically for one person? What is specifically one person? Have you ever concocted something specific and unique to one person only? That's funny that you mention that. I actually just finished making elixir a little over a month ago for a funny little fellow that kept going on and on about how he didn't have any friends. Curious little creature he was. I believe he went by the name of Gobby. While the elixir didn't actually fix the problem he was having, nor did it bring him any friends, he was exceedingly grateful that I spent the time trying to help him, and he showed me how to make a new substance I never even heard of called Wanderdust. I wonder what that fellow's up to now. Do one thing over again. Way too in-depth. If you could do one thing over again, what would you choose? If you could turn back time and attempt to do one thing over again, what would you choose to do? Honestly, if I could choose to have another chance at one thing, I'd like another shot at concocting an elixir to save my father's life. He was suffering for a long while. I tried so hard, but no matter what I tried, I just couldn't find a cure for what plagued him. To tell you the truth, it's not something I've ever encountered before. Strangely enough, it's not an ailment I've seen it either. What have you done to make a world a better place for others or worse place for others? Done, I would say better place. Keeping him in the positive mindsets. What would you say you managed to accomplish to make this world a better place for your kind, Amicus? Honestly, I think I've done a fair bit. The elixirs I made brought joy to many and even saved the lives of some. Now, with that being said, not all my transactions have worked out perfectly. Some of my terminal patients have never returned, and only to assume that the elixirs did not work as intended. In the end, I just have to focus on the fact that my concoctions have helped more people than they've harmed, and that's that. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. What would you say the worst experience you've been through? Easily passing my father. That's not something I'm over, nor do I think I'll ever be. You fear death or fear? You fear death. You fear death, Marcus? Ah, yes, as a matter of fact, I do, Weaver. It scares the pants off me, to be quite frank. To believe possibly word peace, or what are your thoughts on What are your thoughts on war? What are your thoughts on war in general? I don't really have many thoughts on when it comes to war, or something I try not to concern myself with. I'm not a fighter, nor do I wish to be. I certainly wish to complain about something that I'm not willing to engage in myself. Vices you're ashamed of, have you contributed to vices of others? Do you have any vices that you're ashamed of? Do you have any vices that you're perhaps ashamed of, Alchemist? I do have one, yes. I'm not proud of this, but I managed to concoct a substance that has been highly addictive. It's stronger than crimson meat and more potent than the fragile shroom. Sometimes I use it to remember things. And sometimes I use it to forget. Good man or consider yourself evil? Would you consider yourself to be evil? Would you consider yourself to have an evil inside you, Marcus? Absolutely not. Without a shadow of a doubt, I would not consider myself to be evil in any way, shape, or form. I should not help you. Why shouldn't I help you? What reason could you give me not to help you? If you're in my position, what do you imagine you would find undeserving of aid within yourself? Generally couldn't tell you what would make me undeserving, either. I believe that I'm just as a healthy... a desperate soul begging for help. Here's the day, ultimately the decision is yours alone, and yours alone to make. If I were in your position, I see no reason not to grant me aid in my time. Oh. Yeah, no, I don't want to give him help. Do you have any nervous habits or any quirks? Nervous habits. What would you say that you have a nervous habit of some sort? I have a strange little habit when I get anxious, yes. I tend to do this funny thing with my ear, or I almost bended it in half unknowingly. I don't even notice that I'm doing it most of the time. Just sometimes when I get real nervous about something and I get lost deep in thought, I don't even notice my ears crumpled until it's causing me pain. What are you most confident in? Biggest insecurity? What would you say your biggest insecurity you have within yourself? Oh boy, there's so many that I don't even know where to start. I suppose if I had to pick one and one only, I'd say I'm most insecure that I'm not as good of an alchemist as my uncle, and perhaps I'll never be as successful as he's become. You've been a villain last time you did something you should. Have you ever been a villain in someone else's story? Yes. Unfortunately I have, Weaver. It's not my intention to be, but I missed out that I have. I made an elixir for a woman who's trying to save her son from impending doom. I was just starting out as an alchemist, and I made a horribly tragic mistake. I got the labels on 2 elixirs mixed up, and I sold her the wrong one. Her son unfortunately did not make it through the night. She swore that he placed a hex on me, that I'd be damned for the deep. Swore that she would place a hex on me, then I'll be damned to the deepest depths of hell. Sometimes I wonder if there's any merit to that threat. Short-tempered, or what frustrates you the most? What frustrates you the most? What would you say brings you the highest level of frustration in life? Easily the success of my undeserving uncle. He eats away at me each and every day, and it steals sleep from me at night. It pains me that he has so much to his name. He's built it off the name of my father to protect no credit being given. I hope to rectify that one day, Weaver. What do you think would bring you happiness or sorrow? What would bring you happiness? What do you think would bring you happiness and satisfaction, Alchemist? That's an easy one. I want to be more successful than my uncle. And if I didn't obtain the fame and fortune I desire, as long as I outperform, I can go to my grave a happy man. Greatest experience or worst experience? I'll say greatest experience. What would you say the greatest experience you've ever had the pleasure of having? My 20th birthday, my father gifted me his treasure cauldron that he did all his best brewing in. We stayed up in the late hours of the night, mixing and brewing until we made some very unique and potent beverages. It was a great bonding moment that I felt that we truly passed the torch on to me as an alchemist. Do you enjoy traveling? I like that question. Do you consider yourself to have wanderlust, Alchemist? I do like to travel from time to time, yeah. It often sends me to faraway places in search of rare to hard to find ingredients. I try to hire help to assist me with the more dangerous journeys, but most of the time I have to use stealth and careful planning in order to obtain what I might be missing at the time. What brings you stress and anxiety? To your heart, Alchemist? My lack of success in business currently. I don't think I'm necessarily doing poorly, but I know I could do much better. Perhaps even now I may be doing a little too optimistic about my circumstances. I'm at risk of losing my business and having to start over from nothing. It's not the easiest truth to keep down. What is something that you fear might change you? What is something that you fear might change who you are, but for the worst? Seeing my uncle become the greatest alchemist of all time. He's not far from his goal, and if that happens, I just might lose my proverbial Fateweaver. Have you ever broken the law and gone away with it? I have a very funny way of skirting the rules without truly breaking them. I may not follow all the guidelines set by man, but I stay out of trouble well enough not to concern myself with the dread association with breaking the law. What is your favorite meal? What would be your favorite? What meal would you happen to say is your favorite to consume? Do fragile shrooms count as a meal? Because if so, I'll take the hallucinogenic effects over a nice tasting meal any day of the week. What is your worst personality trait? Most likely my addictive personality. Tend to struggle with substances that bordered on abuse. To be honest, perhaps that even breaks borders at times. Have you ever changed over the last 5 years? What's been the hardest loss you endured? Have you ever changed over the last 5 years? Living without my father by my side to help me when times have been rough have been life-changing in so many ways. I believe I've become a stronger individual, more self-reliant and more self-sufficient, but I'm not going to lie to you either. I'm not sure how much I've actually changed internally. I'm still just the same skilled little boy that I've always been, absolutely terrified day in and day out, and I'm just doing the best that I can. You like the person you've become? You've become as your life progressed? No, I don't. I never much liked who I am, to be honest. I know I'm not the most confident man, but there are some things I can be proud of. Even still, they don't know why my personal hatred for myself at times. Just don't let anyone see that side of me. How badly do you want to stay alive? How badly do you wish to stay alive right now, Alchemist? What does your life mean to you? Pretty bad? I mean, I certainly do not wish to die, that's for certain. What is your current state of health? Both physically and mentally. Well, mentally speaking, poor. On the other hand, if you mean physically speaking, also poor. Would you consider yourself to be easily influenced by others? Oh yes. Most certainly so. Especially when someone tells me that I can't do something. That's a surefire way that I'll prove the doubters wrong and rise to any challenge. You could bring someone back. He's gonna say you'll bring back his dad. So if you could take the life of someone right now with no repercussions, would you? And if so, if you could choose to take a life of one living individual right now, without the fear of repercussions, would you? And if so, whom would you choose? If I had the choice, I wouldn't take the life of anyone. Not even my uncle. Besides, I don't want him dead. I want him alive so I can see the look on his face when he realizes that after a lifetime of struggle and tedious work, I've become his superior. After TDT to reinvent yourself, how would you? Would you consider yourself put yourself in a way? you consider yourself to be pretty I can't say that word. Anyway, I was not expecting that question to arise. Not sure how I would navigate this one, so I will say this. I have a great distrust of... perhaps that's very wrong of me, but I have many a wanderer come through my shop and steal my wares. Perhaps for this reason and this reason alone, but I kept a watchful eye on anyone who was into my shop looking for, that is a very interesting thing, Marcus. Who's the first friend you met? What's the last friend you made? My father. But since his passing, I refused to let anyone get close enough to consider them a friend. Any advice? That's the other advice. If you could give me any kind of advice, what would it be? If you, Alchemist, could give a Fateweaver like me any form of advice, what do you think it would be? Yeah, now that's an question indeed, Weaver. I'm not sure that there's any sort of advice that I could give that would be benefit to an entity such as you. Though if I could give you, or anyone, any kind of advice, it would be this. Never tell people more than they need to know. If I could share one piece of advice for you before I depart tonight, Alchemist, it would be this. No one else knows what they're doing either. That's actually very helpful, Weaver. Thank you for that. As to everything of you that I wish to know at this time, I would take myself to ponder your answers and inevitably be made. But now, try and get some rest. Our paths may never cross again, but my verdict will be revealed in time, Alchemist. Goodbye, Weaver. Goodbye, Marcus. Now, do I get to choose his fate? With all that been asked, with all that's been answered, it's now time for the twisting of fates. Which fabric do you choose to design? Twist a grim fate for Marcus. To deep thought and much contemplation, the Fateweaver decided to invoke the wrath of other side upon Marcus the Alchemist, and weave a fate of chaos and turmoil. Not long after Marcus had met the Fateweaver, he had begun to grow increasingly ill. At first, Marcus was uncertain of whether or not he had become sick, for his ailments were unique. As time went on, it became apparent that not only was he ill, but Marcus was suffering from the very same sickness that plagued his father before his passing. The very same illness that Marcus had failed to concoct a cure for all those years ago. Marcus worked diligently all through the days and nights, forgoing sleep in order to grant himself more time. But time was not a friend of Marcus, and the alchemist was left alone in an attempt to save his own life in its darkest hour. His bones began to bend, his skin blistered, and his blood ran hot with the fires of hell. The desperate alchemist worked diligently through panic and despair, trying everything he could get his hands on, but to no avail. In the end, Marcus had no choice but than to reach out to the man who darkened his heart with seething hatred. His conniving, insolent uncle had stolen his father's work and burned the evidence its existence years ago. Marcus begged and pleaded at his uncle's feet in order to save his life, and his uncle offered Marcus a deal. If he were to offer Marcus aid, Marcus workshop and stockpile at once, but never vowed to practice alchemic again. Marcus was absolutely distraught and heartbroken at the events which transpired such an inconceivably short amount of time. Marcus had no other choice. He agreed to give everything he owed to his uncle in exchange for his help, and ventured back into his home to sit in his garden, awaiting his uncle's concoction. But as the hours turned to days, and days turned to weeks, Marcus grew too weary to walk, and there was no sign of his uncle, nor a cure in sight. Marcus met an unsufferable demise within a month, and his uncle took claim to everything he owned, only to burn it all to the ground and open up his own shop in the... Eventually, Marcus's uncle became the greatest alchemist to ever lived. Or at least that's what history would have one believe. There's a reason why gods and mortals like fear the Fateweavers, for this is the tale of woe that befalls all who deem unworthy of existence, the divine presence of wrath. The fated word that you've been bestowed upon you is damnation. Remember this word, for it will be the greatest use for you moving forward. We would like to thank Marcus for his continued support across our previous titles and have opted to use his name for inspiration in the comments left. You'll be doing the same for many more titles moving forward and selecting new names for more episodes from fans of across the board. This is a way of showing appreciation and support for those who continue to show us theirs. From bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. Fateweaver Alchemist is episode 1 of 52. Oh, jeez, 52. We hope to enjoy the experiments within this time. Hope that you check out the rest of the Fateweaver series as well. If you did enjoy the experiments, we would strongly suggest you play through one more practice Marcus questions you haven't asked on previous playthroughs, songs, different dialogue, and maybe even choose different ending. Once you have selected enough names in the comments to put in a future episode of Fateweaver, you are releasing each one of the 51 remaining episodes on Steam every Monday. 10 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. GMT. So you can always have something to look forward to on a sketch schedule each and every week moving forward. Please feel free to take the fade word he assigned you at the end of the session and leave it in comments, and you may add your name to the credit to Chasing Demons, and as well as give you a chance to be selected in the few miniature summons of Fateweaver series to be a character just like Marcus. We'll always read every comment you get. Promise you won't go unnoticed. Again, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, and we hope to get some enjoyment of our products. So here we are again. Another look into the mirror. Another gaze at another gaze at once was. Well, tell me, Fateweaver. Do you like what you see? Do you already know the answer to that inquiry? Perhaps you should go ask me something else. Perhaps you're right. But to be fair, this question I don't already know. And the answer to, Weaver. You know me intimately, do you not? That depends on your answers intimately. Are you aware of something that I am not? I am aware of much that you are not, Weaver. Why don't you stay a while? Ease for a little longer. I think I've done enough peering into the void into the one evening. I think I have done enough peering into the void for one evening, Mira. I'll be taking my leave now. Soon. Well then, farewell, Fateweaver. Until we meet again. And we both know all too well that we will be meeting again. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other titles you can watch. And obviously, so next time, of course. And then there's a whole bunch of edits. With that, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path, wherever they might lead you into the future. Goodbye, everybody. It's actually not quite the end of the episode just now, because I'm going to be sticking this at the end of the episode you just watched, which obviously you guys can see, but mostly I just wanted to show the ending of what I got for this one, just because as I was doing it, I thought it was a little awkward in some places, so I figured just show the ending. So I hope you guys enjoy, and like I said before, and I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives. Bye-bye, and hope you enjoy. Oh, I got life. That's nice. so you've returned once again, Fateweaver. What troubles do you carry with you this time? Why do you seem to think I have troubles, Mirror? We all have troubles, Fateweaver. I can see yours clearly. Is that so? Is that true? Then why do you ask me what burdens I bear? Shouldn't you be able to tell me? Oh, I can, Fateweaver. I just like hearing it coming from your lips instead. I enjoy hearing you admit your grievances aloud. It fills me. It thrills me. Well, you'll get no thrills on this day, Mirror. That's rather unfortunate. And here I thought we were becoming friends. Ah, well, sorry to disappoint. Perhaps you should come back when you're ready to gaze a little deeper. Until then, you got souls to save, Weaver. Though I think you'll find that souls are more fun to take. Until next time, Mirror. Until next time, Fateweaver.